Hello, I'm Passenger A.
And I'm Passenger S. We are Metroland and you're watching liveprog. Liveprog coming from Tivoli in the backstage area with Mr. Paul Humphreys from Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I heard your flight was a little bit delayed.
It was indeed, yeah.
Okay, but you are here now,
but
so...
I managed to make it. So
okay, well,
it's always a bit tricky flying in on the day of the show.
I can imagine that.
I had some things to do in London. So.
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to thank you for the opportunity to have a chat with you. I gotta say, I grew up with the music of OMD, so it's kind of special. And I was preparing the interview, and I really had, well, I can show you, I had a million questions.
You seem to have plenty of questions there.
I have plenty of questions, but
so
I'll skip a few okay. Because of the time, of course. But let's just focus a little bit on what's going on right now. Because a couple of years ago, OMD reformed.
Yes.
Was it a bit of a clean start?
Well, we never thought we'd do OMD again. I mean, we discussed it because OMD effectively stopped in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And I mean, because electronic music had really, apart from in the dance scene, electronic music had just kind of disappeared off the landscape, really. And because there was things like Nirvana and all the Britpop stuff, and it all kind of replaced all the electronic music. Electronic music was out of fashion. So, but then when we got into the mid 2000s, so we effectively stopped. So we get into the middle of the sort of 2000s, and there's a whole resurgence again of electronic music.
Yeah.
There was a lot of new electro bands citing OMD as an influence, and it sort of created a climate where OMD could exist again if we wanted it to exist.
Yeah.
So we all met up and just sort of decided we'd been offered things were coming in, like people wanting us to produce new records, and there was a whole new interest in OMD. So we thought, why don't we just put a few shows on sale and see what happens?
Yeah.
So we put 9 shows on sale, and they sold out in a few days, and then they turned into 49 shows, and all of a sudden we're doing OMD again.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how that happened, but.
Was it because then you also recorded a new album?
Yeah, well, we did a couple of years of playing concerts, and Andy and I just sat down one day after doing 2 years of doing gigs, playing our back catalogue.
Yeah.
And we said, well, is this it now? Are we just going to be a sort of tribute band to ourselves, or do we still have something to offer?
Yeah.
In the voice of OMD.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't tell anyone. We went into the studio and we came up with the whole History of Modern album.
Okay.
And it was hugely well received, critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
Sold really well, and all of a sudden we're a current band again.
Yeah.
And we've done English Electric, and that's been incredibly well received.
Yeah, because it was, I guess it was then a natural thing to keep on going because of the well received.
Yeah. I mean, we were enjoying being OMD again. Probably more so than ever, really, because we're doing OMD on our terms now.
Yeah.
And one of the problems in the sort of late 80s was that it stopped being on our terms.
Mm-hmm.
We were part of the business. There was all the pressures of the business. We were kind of forced onto the road for sort of 9 months a year, and then we'd get off the road and the record label would say, where's the new album? And we'd say, well, we haven't even started it yet. And they'd say, well, you've got 2 months.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pressure then.
Yeah, so but now we're in a position where we don't actually have to be doing OMD again. Mm-hmm. We're just doing it because we want to be OMD again.
Okay.
And we've got complete control again. It's like a full cycle, really. It's like when we started as kids.
Yeah.
We were in complete control. We could do whatever we wanted.
Okay.
With no pressures.
Yeah.
And now we're back to that point again. So we're really enjoying it. So we're going to keep going just for as long as we're still enjoying it. Really.
Yeah. Well, was it important to retain the OMD sound in the new material?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of conscious and subconscious. I mean, as songwriters, Andy and I, we have our natural signature that you can't take away. I mean, we write in a certain style and a certain way that just says that's OMD.
Yeah.
But sonically in the sounds we've chosen, we wanted to be kind of true to our roots, really, and particularly with the English Electric album, we decided to go back to our more simplistic electronic roots. And in fact, when we first started out, because what you have to understand is we have no musical knowledge whatsoever, and when we first started out, we were just making up the rules as we went along.
Yeah.
But that was the OMD sound, because we didn't really know what we were doing, and I think the more OMD progressed, the more conventional we became in a way, because we learned how to do things.
Yeah.
But we kind of lost sight of our roots a bit, of the sort of more experimental, crazy arrangements of things. So particularly with English Electric, we decided to unlearn about 30 years of being in OMD and go back. We kind of looked at our first 4 albums and went, well, you know what? There's something really amazing about those 4 albums because they're so unusual in a way, and the arrangements. I mean, a lot of the choruses that we used to write were never really vocal choruses; they were keyboard lines, and we went back to that as well with English Electric, but we've tried to make it a modern sounding record. We didn't want to make it an album that sounds like it was recorded in 1979.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it sound modern with all the modern technology, but be true to our sort of more simplistic, more experimental roots, really. Okay.
How does the writing process go? Do you write together or do you write separately and then compare ideas?
Well, what we used to do was we had our own studio in Liverpool, and Andy and I used to commute in every day, and we used to sit in a room and throw ideas around until we came up with something. I live in London now, and Andy lives in Liverpool, which means we're 200 miles apart. So with the English Electric album, we thought we'd be really modern and send files to each other. We had similar systems, so they would load up on our systems. But it just was really long-winded, and it wasn't the same as sitting in a room. So with English Electric, I went up for a couple of weeks a month to Liverpool, and we worked in the studio together through the idea, put the whole thing together to get together in one room, and then of course Andy could go away and write his lyrics, and I'd come back to London and program it all up. But it was a much better way to work, and I think it shows in the
Set the dials to overload. My head is ready to explode. I can't breathe the air you leave. Abandoned to your fantasy. Torn the children far away. Burn the house where they once played. This terrifying wall of pain is pouring down upon me once again.
Now on stage you have one big synthesizer.
One big keyboard,
And in the studio do you still have some of the older equipment, vintage synthesizers?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of the old. So I had to actually, when we got back together, I wanted to be true to the original sounds that I used to use, but most of the synths I used I'd either lost or they'd blown up or they didn't work. So Andy and I spent about 3 months on eBay trying to buy up the old synths that we used to have. So I've got all those old synths again.
Yeah.
But with the new record, I wanted to use a lot more of the more modern synths.
Yeah.
Which I have done. A little bit of analog stuff, but mainly a lot of it's done all in the box.
Yeah.
With the virtual synthesizers.
Okay, so but still a little bit of the vintage.
A little bit of the vintage,
to give it a feel.
But I'm not so purist about it. I'm just because the modern synths are fantastic. What they can do, the digital synths.
Yeah.
So I'm not so purist about it that it has to be analog.
Yeah.
It's funny because all the young bands are buying all the equipment that we used to have when we were kids, and we're selling it to them back to them.
I noticed that when you look at English Electric, that there are a couple of real electronic pieces on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Some shorter ones, but
we decided to go back to our more experimental roots as well. Things like our Dazzle Ships album, whereas where we sort of kept. See, we never start in the sort of traditional way when we write songs. We never start with just working out some chords and melodies.
Yeah.
They're kind of the last things that happen. We start with an idea or a sound or something completely bonkers, and then it will build and build and build. And sometimes we get rid of the original crazy idea that it started with, and then we end up with just a song.
Okay.
it's all, you know, it's sort of layers of building blocks to
Yeah.
get to that. And quite often the vocal and the melody, which actually sells the song, is the last thing we put on.
Yeah.
But on this album we decided to leave some of our more raw ideas as experiments, really,
Yeah.
without developing them, because we kind of liked the way they were.
Yeah. I think they fit quite well in the whole
Yeah, I think
line
so.
of the album.
Yeah.
Now the first song that was presented on YouTube with a very nice video was Metroland.
Metroland, yeah.
Which I think still it has grown on me. Initially I thought, okay, you know, this heavy beat in it, but I gotta say it has really grown on me ever since, and I think it's a fantastic song. Keep singing it all along all day.
Well, that's good. That's what it's all about.
Now, but what I noticed is something interesting about also this show tonight and the one you will be doing in Belgium, because you will have a support band called Metroland.
Exactly.
And they also did a remix
They
of
did,
the song.
yeah.
So how did you get in touch with them, and how did they get to do a remix of that song?
We actually met them at a gig that we did a few years ago, and they kind of wanted to support us, and so we kind of got friendly with them.
Yeah.
And then when Andy and I wrote the song Metroland, which had nothing to do with the band,
No.
we thought, how cool would it be to have Metroland remix Metroland?
Yeah.
And then we were talking, and then they've just made a new record, and so they contacted us and said, can we support you? So we said, well, in a few of the gigs you can. So they're playing with us tonight, so I'm really
very
looking
nice.
forward to
Yeah.
seeing them.
Okay. When you are preparing for a live show, I mean, you have like 13 albums behind you now.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to create a set list?
It's really difficult because you're always going to leave out someone's favourite, particularly the hardcore fans. They want to hear a lot of our more obscure album
Yeah.
tracks. But when we've now got 2 new albums that we have to represent.
That's true.
And English Electric we're very proud of, so we want to play 5 tracks from that tonight.
Yeah.
But we only play for sort of hour and 40, hour and 45, because we don't want to be one of these bands that kind of plays for 3 hours like
Mhm.
The Cure do. I think you can overstay your welcome on stage. So
Yeah.
we like to make it really concise, but there's also there's sort of 10 hit singles that we have to play. Otherwise,
Yes.
people start throwing things.
Yeah, of course.
Or start, chanting the song title until we
Yeah.
play it. So.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened recently actually. We were playing Mexico City, and a song from Crush called Secret, which we're
Yeah.
not playing tonight. By the time we got to the encore, the crowd were chanting Secret, Secret. Fortunately, we rehearsed it, so we said, all right, we'll play it.
That's good.
We don't usually do requests, but
No, of course. Now, you're basically kind of full steam going on. I mean, you have 2 new albums out, you're performing again. Is it too soon to look already to the future?
Well, funny enough, it was such hard work doing English Electric. Andy and I sweated blood over this record to make sure it was as we wanted it.
Yeah.
And we hadn't really had a break because we went straight into promotion and then into the touring. So we were kind of, at the end of making that album, we thought, oh, that was so hard. I don't think we'll make another one. But then I went out to dinner with Andy in, where was it, Nottingham the other night. And then we started throwing ideas across the table about what the new album should sound like. So
Okay, so
I'm sure there'll be another one.
Yeah, once you take a break after the touring and
We
everything.
need to take, we've been working non-stop for over 2 years.
Okay, that's
So,
quite a long time.
Yeah, and our families are complaining.
Of course,
So
that's
we need
also
to-
important. Yeah.
So we're going to take sort of 4 or 5 months off.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
the
get
whole
back into
everything taking up basically all of your time.
It has been, yeah. I mean, we said we'd only do OMD part-time when we got back into it, but very quickly became full-time again.
Yeah.
We're kind of, Andy and I, we like to do things properly,
Yeah.
and that takes time. We don't like to kind of put half our energy into it. We want to put either our entire energy into it
Yeah.
or don't do it at all.
Yeah, I think that's important. I have a feeling that you've always been doing that. I mean,
We have always done
I
that.
mean that's probably one of the reasons why O&D's been very successful all these years, especially of course in the 80s, but at the moment as well.
Yeah, well that's kind of why we stopped really, because we were so exhausted, we had no energy left, and we thought, well, we're not going to make really bad records, and I'd rather stop than do that.
Okay. So the experience from the past can be used now to make sure that you're not gonna end up at the same point.
We're always
hopefully.
learning. Hopefully, yeah. Well, we now know that we need to have a break.
Yeah.
And we've got no record company telling us that we need to
you're
make a
doing
new album
by yourselves.
Yeah, we're in control of everything.
Okay, that's a lot better. Well, it's fantastic to see that you're back and enjoying it, and that
we are enjoying it. I mean, people are saying how much we look like we're having so much fun on stage.
Yeah.
Because we are. We're really, we love playing together as a band, the four of us.
Yeah.
We because Malcolm and Martin are with us, who were in the original band, and because you also have to understand that we've all known each other since we were kids. I mean, Andy and I went to primary school together at 7. We've known each other since we were 7. I've known the drummer since he was 12, and Martin since he was 11. So we all go back to our school days. So we've all remained friends for all this time. So we really enjoy each other's company. We love playing together. So I think that shows.
Yeah. Did O&D also kind of evolve from that friendship in the beginning?
Well, it did, because particularly with me and Andy, we were in some school bands together, and we quickly realised that we were interested in far more left field odd things than all our other friends. And at that time, and we were going over to Liverpool and going to the import stores and buying up all the sort of obscure German bands, and all our friends thought they were terrible, and it was because they were all into sort of Genesis and all the prog rock things at the time, and we wanted something different. And we'd heard Kraftwerk on the radio, we'd heard Autobahn in 1975, and we said, right, that's the future. I want to do that. Yeah.
That was something I when we were outside, I mentioned the Synth Brittania documentary where Kraftwerk was mentioned. So that was a big impact in your life.
Kraftwerk were, I mean, if Kraftwerk hadn't existed, O&D definitely wouldn't have existed.
Were you already playing synthesizers before that, or was that the reason to play them?
I think they were the reason to play them, really, because we'd heard like Autobahn and Radioactivity, and they were kind of making songs out of cut up radio things and interference and crazy electronic sounds, and we thought, well, we can actually do that. But the thing was that we didn't have any money. Kraftwerk had all these incredible synths, because they were quite wealthy anyway to begin with, because they come from quite wealthy backgrounds anyway, so they could afford all this technology that was so hugely expensive at the time. Andy and I came from working class backgrounds. We had absolutely no money. I had an interest in electronics. In fact, that was my hobby, electronics. I used to make things. And so all our early instruments I actually made with a soldering iron. In fact, on the first album, our drum machine was the drum machine I actually made from every part.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
I'm a nerd, basically. and Andy is a bit as well. We're just a couple of nerds.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice to hear. I mean, I like to see that the whole love for not just the music but also the technology behind it comes together.
Yeah, well, you have to have a love of technology to make electronic music. I think you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah,
which we do.
Because
it also, I mean, you see what synthesizers do is they afford you a whole plethora and a whole massive palette of possibilities, sonic possibilities of sounds that a guitar, bass and drums band doesn't offer you.
That's true.
And when you've got lots of ideas and you want to try experimenting, you've got a fantastic palette of sounds to construct that out of.
Yeah, that's true. Do you still solder and or no time anymore?
No time anymore. No. I pay people to do the soldering. I
noticed that History of Modern and as well as English Electric are also on vinyl. Also a conscious decision?
Well, we love we love the vinyl format. We always have. And I think I think with with the sort of digital revolution and iTunes and stuff, the actual journey of an album seems to be lost. People cherry pick things, they listen to it in different orders. So the whole journey of a record, which is important to me and Andy, is somewhat lost. But if you put it out on vinyl, then you can have that journey again.
That's true.
And
you don't shuffle it.
No, exactly. It's too hard to shuffle.
Yeah.
But also we've worked again with Peter Saville, who was our designer, who did the first 6 album sleeves with us, and all the singles and everything. And he's the most amazing designer.
Yeah.
And we brought him out of retirement because he did all the Joy Division stuff. He did all the New Order stuff. You know, he's an amazingly award-winning designer, and we always had fantastic packaging in the early days. And so we called Peter Saville and said, "Look, I know you don't do sleeves anymore, but you're going to do ours." and because his artwork is so beautiful, we had to put it in there.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I mean, it works as like a little icon.
Okay.
But it works much better on the big format.
Definitely, yeah. Okay. Well, that's nice to hear. Now, there was one thing I had to show you, because the album is called English Electric, and I am also a reviewer, and a while back I reviewed this one.
Oh, I know. We know about it.
You know about it,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'll show it to the camera, this one.
Someone else did an album called English Electric. Quite recently, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this was the first part. It was released last year, and they did the second part, which was released in March.
Yeah, I don't know if they've...
Have you heard it?
I haven't actually heard it.
Okay.
Is it folky kind of thing?
Well, it's progressive rock.
Progressive rock,
Old Genesis style, you know, that kind of...
No, we heard... You see, the thing was, we announced the name of our album on our website before we even heard about it. And so we thought,
it's a nice coincidence, you know. I just thought, I mean, I very much like this band as well, so I thought, you know, it's a nice coincidence. I figured, you know, I'll bring along, but you already knew.
We already knew, but it was too late to change it then because we'd announced the title all over the
I think they can coexist.
I think we can coexist fine.
All right, well, I'd like to thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's nice having a chat with you, and good luck with the show tonight.
Thank you, I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
Nice talking with you.
Same.